Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into something that sounds a bit like science fiction, but is very, very real. We're talking about injections that can deliver medication not just for a day, but for weeks or even months at a time. So let's get right into it.
So let's just start with a really basic question. We all know someone, or maybe it's ourselves, who has to take medicine for a chronic condition for months or even a lifetime. So why are we still stuck taking daily pills or getting frequent painful shots? I mean, it's a huge hassle, right? It's easy to forget a dose, and that can make the treatment a whole lot less effective. You see, the real problem with a standard injection is that it puts your body on a roller coaster. And that's a ride nobody really wants to be on when it comes to their health.
Okay, so here's what happens. With a normal shot, you get this huge rush of medicine all at once. That's the peak. But then it drops off really fast, and suddenly you're in the valley, where there's not enough medicine in your system to do any good. This whole up and down forces you to get another shot and another, just to stay in that perfect therapeutic range. Now the dream, the ideal, is a single shot that releases the medicine at a slow, steady rate. No peaks, no valleys, just constant, effective treatment.
So how in the world do scientists pull that off? How do they get that perfect, steady release? Well, the answer is this incredibly clever idea called a depot. So a depot formulation is basically a little reservoir of medicine that gets injected right into your body. But instead of flooding your system, it acts like a tiny built-in pharmacy, just releasing the drug bit by bit over time. It's an elegant solution that just completely sidesteps that whole peak and valley problem.
And the benefits here are, well, they're huge. First off, you're talking about way fewer doses. Think once a month instead of every single day. That makes it so much easier for people to stick with their treatment plan. Plus, you can often deliver the medicine right where it's needed. And, fewer shots and fewer trips to the doctor. That ultimately makes the whole thing a lot more affordable.
All right, so if you're a scientist, how do you actually build one of these depots? It turns out you've got this really cool toolkit with 4 main strategies to perfectly control how a drug gets released. The first trick is pretty straightforward. You just control how fast the drug dissolves. Think about the difference between a sugar cube and a giant jawbreaker. That jawbreaker is going to take forever to dissolve, right? Scientists can do the same thing by making drug crystals really big, or by turning the drug into a salt that just doesn't dissolve very well in water. A classic example of this is penicillin G-procaine. Okay, strategy number 2 is called adsorption. To get this, just picture a sponge soaked with water. You can squeeze some water out, but the sponge still holds on to the rest. It's the same idea here. The drug is temporarily stuck to a carrier. As your body uses up the free drug, the carrier slowly lets go of a little more to keep everything in balance. This is actually the same trick used in some vaccines to keep your immune system stimulated for longer. Now, this third strategy, encapsulation, is probably something you've heard of. It works just like a time-release pill you'd buy at the pharmacy. The drug is literally locked inside a tiny biodegradable shell. The medicine can only get out as that little barrier slowly breaks down over time, which gives scientists a really precise way to control the release.
And finally, there's a really smart chemical trick called esterification. Here, scientists actually change the drug itself, turning it into an inactive version called a prodrug. This inactive form creates the depot, but it can't do anything yet. It needs the enzymes that are naturally in your body to slowly turn it back into the active drug. So in this case, your own body controls the release rate. Pretty clever, right?
All right, so we've got the theory down. Now let's get to the really cool part, the actual tech, the gels and spheres and nanoparticles that are changing medicine as we speak.
You have to check this out. Some of the most advanced systems sound like they're straight out of a movie. They're called in situ forming implants. In situ literally just means in position. So you inject a liquid, and it actually transforms into a solid depot after it's already inside your body. It's like building the delivery system on site.
One way this works is with a thermally induced system. Scientists use these amazing polymers that stay liquid at room temperature. But the moment they're injected into you, your own body heat, around 37 degrees Celsius, causes that liquid to instantly turn into a stable gel. And that gel is the depot, slowly releasing the medicine trapped inside.
Another incredibly powerful and super successful technology is based on what are called biodegradable microspheres. These are just microscopic little beads made of polymer that use that encapsulation strategy we just talked about to hold on to the drug. This is one of the most popular ways to create these long-acting injectables. And look, this isn't just something happening in a lab. These are real products that are out in the market,
helping millions of people right now. You've got drugs like Lupron Depot for hormone therapy, Risperdal Consta for schizophrenia. These medicines have already completely transformed how we treat these conditions.
Now let's zoom in, way in, down to the nanoscale. Solid lipid nanoparticles, or SLNs, are unbelievably tiny particles of fat that can carry drugs. What's so great about them is that they act like a tiny shield, protecting the drug from getting broken down by your body too quickly. And that means it can stay active for much longer.
So how much longer are we talking? Well, take a look at this. This chart shows a standard drug versus the same drug delivered with SLNs. The difference isn't just a little bit, it's staggering. The SLN version just keeps going and going and going. To put a hard number on it, one study with an anti-cancer drug found that using SLNs led to an 18-fold increase in the time it stayed active in the body. 18 times longer. That is the kind of leap forward we're talking about here.
Okay, so we've seen all this amazing science. What does it actually mean for us, for the future of medicine? Well, it means we're watching these ideas move out of the lab and into our real lives, making a real impact.
And the potential here is just, wow, it's everywhere. We're talking about hormone therapy, cancer treatment, managing CNS disorders like schizophrenia, even making our vaccines work better. It's truly a game changer across the board.
And don't just take my word for it. The researchers who wrote the paper we're looking at today summed it up perfectly. They said there have been major progresses in this field lately, all thanks to new materials and better ways of making these things. The technology is just getting better and better. So, I'll leave you with this thought. Just imagine a world where managing a lifelong illness isn't a constant daily chore. What if it was just a simple trip to the doctor's office a few times a year? Thanks to this incredible depot technology, that future is getting closer every single day. Thanks for watching.